Hello, BookTube. I'm coming to you with a mail haul today on what turns out to be a very chilly Friday. Into cold weather did indeed come. It's also windy, and the wind is supposed to increase, and that just goes right through an old house like this. There's no way. There's no way to really counteract that. I mean, I could keep punching up the heat, but after a certain point, I might as well be leaving the windows open because it's not helping any. So I'm accoutered. I have my gloves that were made by Sarah at the Bookish Knitter, and I have my devil horn hat, which was made by Hannah at Hannah's Books. So I am nice and comfy warm. It's really the dog walks outside that are the challenge, because both of us want to cover ground. We want to go out and see things, have adventures. You sort of have an organic feeling of when you want to start turning the barge around and heading back home, and we have to stop long before then in this weather. But we're going to do it. It's only another day, and then the temperature goes right back up to 60 degrees. So, but we've got some mail here, a couple of periodicals, and a bunch of packages. And we've got through the last few mail hauls without me needing to delete the video after screaming for an hour. So we'll see if this happens. First periodical is very local. It is the Bedford Times Press, Bedford, Iowa. There is the Homecoming King and Queen and their court. Which is, very heteronormative. And are you supporting the monarchy? Fortunately, in Bedford, Iowa, such absolutely crack-brained, insane Twitter questions are never even asked. Never even asked. Instead, there's a homecoming king and queen. That's great. And that would be great anyway to read about. Local Iowa newspapers have a charm all their own. But this has one element in it that's not local, and that is me, my column. They give me a nice long amount of space for my column. I do a column every week. Happy to do a column for your local newspaper. You feel free to let me know. But this one starts, how does this start? Back in 1947, Macmillan brought out an odd, earnest little book called How to Use Books. It was written by a man named Lyle McCulvin, a once famous 20th century librarian who quite literally devoted his life to books. He traveled the world, visiting libraries big and small at their invitation, assessing working methods and making suggestions. And as is amply attested in many a library memoir, those visits were always kind of marvelous. For all his fussiness and tendencies to cant, McCulvin was a true believer when it came to libraries. He loved their broader mission, and a great many of his ideas for reforming how libraries operated were bright and welcoming and flexible, and to use a heavy-freighted word, modern. Your library would only benefit from adopting all of McCulvin's suggestions. That's a pretty nice way to start a column. If you're interested in reading more, feel free to email me or sing out in the comments. We'll make an arrangement. My rates are very reasonable. But the other periodical I got was slightly better known than the Bedford Times Press, and that is the New Yorker. This one appears to have very little in the way of books coverage, but it does have a dedicated article by Louis Menon on the state of U.S. press, of the Fourth Estate in the United States, the press. And I'm hoping that this is not every once in a while this author will write a 2,000-word piece in which he says nothing. And that results because all he does is pull punches. I'm hoping this isn't one of those times. I'm hoping that he takes no prisoners in this piece, because there's a piece to be written about how badly this present historical moment is being served by its mainstream media. Here, I don't mean necessarily the New York Times or the Washington Post or the Wall Street Journal, although the Journal's editorial page, I mean the broadcast media that most people watch. Most people don't read newspapers anymore. They get their media from some channel or cable production of some kind or another, and they are staffed left, center, and right by some of the dumbest, most blinkered opportunists, some of the most stupid, clickbaity morons that I have ever seen in a lifetime of watching U.S. news broadcasts. It's utterly unbelievable. And they, as you would expect, because the inverse law always works here, no one in the universe has a higher opinion of them than they do. They consider themselves to be the heirs to Brinkley and Cronkite. They consider themselves to be the greatest and wisest commentators on the public sphere. And they are morons, absolute imbeciles. I watch a lot of their content. Again, far left, alt-right, centrist, what passes for non-centrist, and almost all of the commentators on the daily news, the people who are not so much commentators as the ones who are presenting news discussion programs, almost all of them and almost all of their guests are just stupid. Just plain stupid. And the ones who aren't just plain stupid are opportunistic to the point of being outright evil. They know the garbage they're spewing and they don't care. Because they know the audience it will get them. They know the clicks it will get them. In a particular historical moment that needs better performance in that field like no other moment, completely failed by either idiots or grifters. Just completely failed by them. I'm hoping that Manan touches on that. That would be great. But let's look at the packages here, just so that we don't devolve into a rant. Let's look at this first one. This first one is a very pretty gold lame. Very, very nice. Does that mean it's a pretty book? Or was somebody just thinking of me? That's all. Let's see what we have here. Finished copy, whatever it is. Oh, okay, great. This comes out in early March. This is the new Deanna Rayburn. This is A Sinister Revenge, the finished copy of A Sinister Revenge. This comes out in early March. And this is, a lot of you will know this series. These star Veronica Speedwell. In her latest adventure, Veronica is invited to a dinner party where she must identify a killer amongst the guests, solving a long-ago murder and trying to prevent new ones, too. And for those who may not be familiar, the Veronica Speedwell novels are told from the point of view of a lepidopterist, just a fancy word for butterfly enthusiast. Veronica, a spunky young aristocratic woman living in the 1880s England and constantly thirsting for adventure. And this is a delightful series. I don't know that I've read them all, but I've read a few of them. I know I read the first one. It's a delightful series, so glad to have the new one. Where can we put this? Where can it go? I swear, ergonomics are always a problem here in the Little Book Room. All right, this next one is tiny. It's wafer thin. It could be the dreaded slim volume poetry. I can't imagine anything else this small except maybe a book catalog. That is now 6 attempts. 6. Just my hand is full of pieces of the pull tab. 6 attempts to get it to open. Let's drop the confetti down on the floor there, and should have just used brute force. Let's see what we have here. Is it a slim volume poetry? It is. It's a slim volume of poetry. 70 pages soaking wet. Okay, this comes out in May. This is What You Want by Maureen McLean. And once again, I always point this out, but what can a publicist write in the pub sheet to a book of contemporary poetry that's this thing? What can they possibly write? Usually it's just vaporware. Usually it's nothing at all. This collection, which spans from the shores to the heartland, from America to Europe and back, takes as its topic those jagged edges that can't be smooth. See what I mean? It is attuned to our present crisis while still continuing conversations with poets past, from old ballads of the sea to Frederick Seidel. Here are poetic reflections on the work of philosophical and environmental thinkers, a capacious meteorology, a study of inner and outer storms. Okay, well, I don't know what any of that means. I know who Frederick Seidel is, so I'm one step ahead. A slim volume of poetry for the early spring, when it will be bright and sunny and the temperatures will be in the mid-50s Fahrenheit. Because that's the kind of weather you get in the early spring. You get bright, sunny weather with temperatures in the mid-50s Fahrenheit. You don't get that any other time of the year. Not at all. No. All right, then we do this next one. Another one of these pull tabs. Fall apart. No, see, that one worked in one try. Great. Oh, this is another finished copy. Okay, great. Make a little pile on the floor here. What is this? What is this? Some extra material here that we don't need. Okay, this is February 21st. This is coming out in a couple of weeks. This is A Country You Can Leave by Asale Angel Ajani, and it's a novel, which you've got the chaparral there, but it's blurred. It's selectively blurred. Kind of interesting. Lara may not know who her black father is, but she does know her mother. Yevgenia is an accidental defector from the Soviet Union who dominates 16-year-old Lara through her sex ed edicts and insistence on reading only the right kind of literature. Russian, and nothing contemporary. An intimate portrait of a white Russian mother and her biracial daughter, both coming of age in a country sharply divided by racial lines and loyalty. A Country You Can Leave examines the meaning of belonging to family and finding home amid dilapidation and failure. After another of Yevgenia's failed schemes leaves them broke and homeless, they end up in the middle of the California desert at the Oasis Mobile Estates, where they settle in among a hilarious and heartbreaking array of fugitives running from the law, gentrification, and themselves. Following a violent attack, Lara's world begins to crumble, and she must reckon with everything she thinks she knows about her mother and their place in America. Okay, so this is a debut novel. I am assuming without any doubt in my mind that Lara's story is the author's story, and that only the name has been changed. Am I right about that? I'm not sure that the... Actually, I don't know what I'm thinking. I shouldn't read the autobiography of a book like this. Obviously, I should not, because I'm the devil, right? I'm a white guy, so I'm the bad guy in this book, no matter what happens to Evgenia or Lara. But it's a debut novel, and I love them, absolutely love them. So we'll give this a try, and it's coming right up. So that goes on a slightly different pile. That goes on a pile of stuff that I will read tonight. And then we have the final package here, and then we'll be done. We skirted disaster narrowly with that last one, but we managed. All we have is one more. This one was trying. This mail haul was trying to get me in trouble. We got a slim volume of poetry. We got autofiction. That's we got. Oh, gross! Another invoice. Disgusting. What is this? Okay, this comes out in May. Ooh, I didn't know this was coming. Okay, great. This is by Dawn Bentley, and this is Forgotten War. This is a Matt Drake novel. I read a Matt Drake novel, and I really liked it. I don't have... Oh, no, there is a sheet in here. Let's see what the sheet says. Bright, sunny day. Not going to be even 20 degrees Fahrenheit today. Because that's what winter's like, you know. It's not going to be even 20 degrees Fahrenheit today. I don't think it's going to reach 10 degrees Fahrenheit tomorrow. We're going to have to wait all the way until Sunday in February in Boston for the temperatures to go back up into the mid-50s Fahrenheit and stay there forever. We're going to have to wait all the way until Sunday. God, that's almost 2 whole days. Hellhole. Anyway, let's see what we have here. This is the 4th installment in the Matt Drake series. The series is really good. I wonder how many of them I've read. I know I've read at least one. But let's see. I don't know what that thing is on the cover. Is that a plummeting helicopter? If so, it's cropped way too quick. We're way too close. You can't really tell what it is. Maybe stop it out 2 stops more and you'd be able to see it for what it was. Let's see here. Propulsive, complex, and well-crafted. Typically, it will be at least 2 of those, but not all 3. This book is part military thriller and part spy novel. Dawn Bentley's elite military background gives him the unique ability to write pulse-pounding action with authority. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Let's dispense with that idea right away. Bentley flew an Apache attack helicopter in Iraq and Afghanistan. He was the leader of the attack element during the mission to rescue Navy SEAL Marcus Luttrell, which was the subject of the book and film Lone Survivor. After his time in the military, Bentley was an FBI special agent. But unless he was writing that whole time, that doesn't mean anything. Not at all. I guarantee you, if I submerged myself in research for the better part of 6 months, I could write a book that rang with just as much authority on this subject in this venue. That doesn't matter. The author's lived experience doesn't matter. Was he writing that whole time? Or did he go through those experiences and then think, oh, anybody can write a book? But except I know that's not true unless he has a ghostwriter, because the Matt Drake novel that I read was good. So I don't know why we're getting so much. I guess maybe it's because it's for the interest of the reader, so they know that this author has an interesting life story. In his writing, he draws on. Okay, I don't need to know any more about his. What have we got? Okay, let's hear about this book. This is a story that both fans and new readers alike will devour. Okay, so that's at least the pub sheet suggesting that you can jump on with this book. Matt Drake's brotherhood, born in battle with his partner Frodo, is being endangered by a deadly secret surrounding their time in Afghanistan. As a team, Matt and Frodo have watched each other's backs through some very dark days, but one thing they've never doubted was their commitment to each other, until now. Frodo has been accused of a war crime 10 years after leaving Afghanistan. Matt is determined to prove his friend innocent, but what will he do when he finds that his closest friend has secrets he won't share? If that question is not rhetorical, I would like to answer it. I know what he's going to do. He's going to discover at the last minute that his friend is innocent. Then the twist coming out of nowhere that you didn't see is that his friend is actually guilty, and he's going to kill his friend. In a climactic battle, probably in an abandoned school or in a minefield or something like that. Typically speaking, in military adventure novels or military adventure, action-adventure movies, the last thing you want is a group of buddies from the service, whatever the service was, because they're all going to die, except one. Sooner or later, they're all going to die. One of them will be chopped up and mailed in FedEx containers. One of them will certainly betray the others and need to be killed. Maybe all of them will betray the others in, what was the Denzel Washington movie? Absolutely terrific. What was the it the first Equalizer movie? I think it was. I think it was the first Equalizer movie where all of his former friends in the service betray him all at the same time. He has to take them all out in a town that's being buffeted by a hurricane at the end of the movie. Terrific. Absolutely terrific. But you could see it coming. You can see it coming a million ways. There's no such thing in this kind of fiction, starting from David Morrell on, there's no such thing in this kind of fiction as what we read there in that description. Relationships that have been tested in battle where they know they've got each other's backs. There's no such thing as that kind of relationship that stays that kind of relationship. It's target number one. The cartels are target number two, but target number one is my old buddy who has either died horribly, so I need to avenge him, and I find out the person who killed him is another old buddy of mine, or he's gone rogue, he's gone bad, you crossed the line. You crossed the line, Reaper. You've crossed the line, Reaper. It's usually one of those two things. I don't hold out much hope from Matt Drake's old buddy Frodo. But anyway, that is the mail. So we have a military adventure thriller. We have a murder mystery that is coming up close enough so I can read this tonight. We have a slim volume of poetry, and we have a debut work of what I would guess, I'd be willing to bet a Boston cream pie is autofiction. Not a bad mail haul. We didn't run into trouble. We were not led into temptation. We walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and we were fine. So that was a dodgy week, and we managed to get through it. We'll see if there's any mail later today or tomorrow. Also thinking very strongly about a Steve stream. Haven't had a Steve stream in a while. I know some of you are probably having withdrawal symptoms. Very, very strongly considering that. Of course, it will spring on you out of nowhere, but because God forbid I plan it and announce it now. But anyway, that's the mail for today. I will wrap this up, and I will see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.